All right, there it goes. We are live. So basically, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of our live interview where we deep dive into the minds of the most inspiring entrepreneurs, business leaders, and innovators of our time. And today we have a truly exceptional guest with us. She is a powerhouse in the world of business and philanthropy, a doctoral candidate and a community supporter who's raised millions for nonprofits. Please welcome the founder of Cars2Charities rather, Lauren Dahl. Lauren, it's such a pleasure to have you on the show. So let's dive right into it. You've accomplished so much with Cars2Charities, raising millions for organizations like the Wounded Warrior Project, Habitat for Humanity, and the SPCA. What inspired you to start Cars2Charities?
Thank you for having me, firstly, and great question. This company is a family company, believe it or not. My parents began Cars2Charities as another entity in the 90s. And when I graduated from college, I actually took over as a managing partner. So for the last 12 years, I've been working as a part owner, but also the vice president of Cars2Charities. And the reason we began doing it is because my family was always car oriented, and they owned a junkyard. They would resell vehicles, and they were actually approached by a nonprofit to ask if we would purchase their vehicles once they were donated. And we had never heard anything about this before and thought, sure, what a great way for us to help you raise money for your constituents. And we're used to purchasing vehicles, fixing them up, and selling them. And we were creating this amazing partnership. And after a few years, they said, do you want to just come on and handle our vehicle donations for us? And we said yes. And we've been
Oh,
doing it ever since.
okay. How long ago was this?
So this was around 1998, 1999. So about 30 years, almost
30
30
years
years.
ago. Yeah, over 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, my maths is a little bit bad. I won't be able to calculate that far. But can you tell us more about the early days of your business and what were some of the biggest challenges you faced and how did you overcome them?
Yes, of course. One of the things that we really had difficulty with was overcoming competition. Vehicle donations in the United States are very popular. It's a great way for people to get rid of vehicles that are either no longer working or maybe they just don't have the space for them anymore. It just is so simple. You give us a call or any other vehicle donation company and poof, the vehicle's gone in a day or two. So one of the things that we really have been working on overcoming is competition. So we are actually a commercial fundraiser versus a nonprofit. That's something that sets us apart because there's no conflict of interest. The other thing that sets us apart, and this was something that we really tried to explain when we first got started, is that we're family owned and operated. And I think people just really enjoy working with families, knowing that they're in it for the right reasons.
Yes, definitely, because we're not seeing a lot of family oriented or family owned businesses anymore. Back in the days, we used to walk and look at companies, and then you will see signs such as established in 1808 or 1950s, something like that. You're not seeing that anymore.
Right.
Most family owned companies are now conglomerates, large multinational corporations that have grown considerably over the years. And what they're doing now is just going around and merging and acquisitions and all that. It has opened another transition in the business place, in the marketplace as it is. So people are just doing startups, then sell, then they move on to something else.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to see that you're still around, um, and growing the business, which is commendable. But transparency and trust are so crucial, especially in the nonprofit sector. And your expertise spans human capital management, fundraising, organizational operations, and business development. How do you balance these diverse areas of expertise in your role?
Yes. I find that as a managing partner of Cars2Charities, a lot of my job, besides working with our nonprofit affiliates and our donors, is creating a really cohesive work environment. We have amazing employees that have been working with us for years, and my job is to create culture and foster engagement. And my background in human capital management really helps me with the day-to-day operations, just working with the team and working with staff. So it's really great that I've had the opportunity to go back to school and learn about those ways of bringing human capital management and engagement back into an organization that really is focused on uh, stakeholders outside of the company. So, kind of bringing the relationships back to the basics and bringing the team together cohesively has been something that I've really enjoyed. And I feel like my background in those areas has helped me create that environment that's just so incredible.
Okay, but I'm gonna ask you to walk us through the process in terms of Cars2Charities. How would I know about your website, your business? What's the marketing strategy?
Oh, sure. We have a few marketing strategies. We do a lot of social media. We do some print advertising, and we also do Google Ads, which is one of those things that people have a love-hate relationship with. But the fact is, we found it really successful. And that's really the way when you Google certain keywords, we pop up. And what sets us apart again is just the branding. I feel like it just looks so clean and people are able to see exactly what we do. Oh, okay, car donations, Cars2Charities. It's exactly what we do in the name.
Okay, so persons just wanna get rid of their car. Walk us through the process, if you don't
Sure.
mind?
Of course, it's so easy. There's two ways to donate. The first way is to call us. Our 800 number allows you to call at no cost to you. And you'll be on the phone with one of my care team specialists, and they all have experience with vehicle donations. And you'll give them information like the year, make, and model of your vehicle, how long you've had it sitting, if it's still running, things along the lines of the mileage, color, very simple things. And we'll just confirm the vehicle's title information and get you scheduled for a pickup appointment. And in 2 to 3 days, your car is gone. So that's the first way. The other option is to just go online and fill it out. And that's really great for a lot of people because they may say, oh, I can't call. I'm stuck at work. I can't be on the phone for a personal call. No problem. You can hop on your phone at break and in less than 5 minutes, put all of your vehicle information in, and we'll give you a call and schedule your pickup.
Okay. Sounds very interesting, and it's not task oriented like so many others that I've seen, and I want to lament on the fact that there's no I in team. So obviously you have your team there working with you. So I'm curious about your perspective on the human capital management part of it. What do you think is the key to building and maintaining a motivated and productive team, such as the one you have running Cars2Charities right now?
The biggest thing was showing people that I have also been in the trenches. I started at Cars2Charities as a secretary and an administrator, which meant that I, even as the boss's daughter, if you will, I didn't have any sort of special privileges. I was on the phone for 8 hours a day, sometimes 10 hours a day, taking in vehicle donations, handling invoices and paperwork, and just really doing it hands on. And I think the team knows that that's where I began. And I still answer phones. So I will still, during the day, just answer phones, work with charities and donors. And I feel like that's such a great way to motivate the team to be productive, is because they see me in the trenches with them.
Yes, that's one of my pet peeve about the dealership management. My background is I've worked with dealerships, car dealerships for the last 20 plus years. And I've seen a lot of people come and go, and I've seen a lot of I've experienced so many things in the past 20 years. And one of the hurtful thing within the industry is that you have so many people coming into the industry that they have no idea of what dealership management is all about. And some of them came in at the very top instead of working through the trenches like you do, who understand the foundation of the business and what the business is all about in terms of the value, the mission, the vision, and everything else. in order to aspire people to work towards. But enough of that. I'm just going to be going down memory lane. But let's talk about innovation. Cars to Charity it's a unique concept. So how do you foster innovation within your organization?
Yes, thank you. Great question. Focusing on innovation is actually something else I have experience with because of my education and because Cars2Charities is so unique. In order to stand out and be relevant in the market now, innovation is something we talk about every day. And one of the ways that we really foster the creativity that's needed in order for us to make an impact is to encourage collaboration. So the team, we talk every day and we constantly brainstorm. And this is not something we do once a week or once a month. It is every single day. What is something we look at? We look at KPIs, we look at our ROIs, and we see what's working. How can we make this better? And just by doing competitive research and being and fostering that sort of collaboration, I feel like the innovation is just there because we're constantly motivating each other to come up with the next great idea.
Yeah. And honestly, a lot of people don't know what KPI is for. So you have to, spoon feed it, break it down little by little so that they can, no, understand that those are the actual targets. So it's very clear that innovation is at the heart of what you do. So on a lighter note, I hear you have some interesting hobbies. I did a little research. So, food, gossip, trivia, history, reading fairy fantasy, and all these, things macabre. How do these actual interests influence your work?
Because I have such a diverse interest about most things, I feel like it helps me build relationships with people at the office specifically and clients as well, because you never know what someone likes or enjoys. So when I'm getting to know people and creating relationships, I will ask them, what do you like? And I find that a lot of the things that I enjoy, like food or gossip and trivia, people really enjoy that. And I feel like a lot of the people that I work with as well enjoy reading, and we like to give each other recommendations for the next big book or a book series, or this book's being created into a Netflix series or Hulu series. And it allows us to create and build trust and relationships within the workplace. And I think that's probably the best thing that you could do is just create a relationship based off of your own interests.
Yeah, that is very important, especially to have a work-life balance, and that is so important, especially now in today's modern world. It's just that we're leaning towards the cell phone technology, where everyone is so glued into the next viral moment. But what advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs and business leaders who want to make a positive impact through their work? That's just a general question out there, but what will be your personal advice?
There are two things that I would advise people to do if you're trying to make an impact through their work. The first thing is perseverance. You constantly have to remind yourself that if you want to get something done, you have to do it, and you have to set aside the time for it. So if you make the time and you keep chugging along, you'll be able to do what you want to do as long as you create a goal. So that's the first thing. The other thing is believing in yourself, knowing that you have the capability to make anything happen if you persevere and if you make the time for it. I think those two ideas are just so important to remember.
Really wise words to live by: perseverance. I once read Bill Gates' little motivational session, and he says two things: timing and depth of vision. But we can put perseverance into that, because perseverance comes along with depth of vision. You have to see what you want, go after it, and continue. In Jamaica, we call it stick to itiveness. You stick to something, and then you constantly try to improve as you go along. So Lauren, thank you so much for joining us today. I don't want to hold you long. Your insights have been truly inspiring. And to every one of our listeners, thank you for tuning into this episode. The thing is, I think I sent you on to another website, Whipflip, and they actually purchase cars from individuals. So what will be the motivation behind your company say, okay, you try to get people to trade their car in to donate it to charity, as opposed to me taking my car to someone else and I want cash for it? What's the big difference there?
Well, I feel like if cash is your number one motivator, donating your car is probably not for you, and that's okay. The best thing that makes car donations so unique and so simple and why it's lasted for so long is how easy it is. You're not responsible for going to DMV or handling any sort of paperwork. We take care of that for you. When it comes to vehicles that no longer run properly, you can't really sell those. They're junk cars, and in certain states and countries, you have to be careful about how you're disposing of your vehicles. So car donations is a great way to say, this car doesn't run anymore. What do I do with it? I'll just donate it because they'll handle it for me. So
Yeah.
I think the ease of the process with car donations is really great. And again, it may not be for everyone, and that's absolutely fine. But I find that most people who do enjoy donating their cars just really appreciate the fact that they can make a quick 5-minute call and then a 5-minute interaction with the tow truck driver a couple of days later gets the vehicle out of their hair, and they can just move on with their lives.
Right. But trade secrets. After the car is donated, where does it go?
It depends on the type of car. So typical vehicles that 90% of donations are vehicles that are no longer running and driving. So we send them either to scrap or to auction. We try to get the most money possible for our donors and charities. So we really weigh the different options. We work with, oh gosh, I want to say over 100 different auction houses across the United States, and some of them can get more money than others. So we really are comparing and contrasting which is going to be the best option for each vehicle. And after that point, once it sells, then we're able to send everyone their paperwork. Certain vehicles, though, can't be sold at auction because they're just not going to foster enough proceeds for the charity or for the donor. So when we get specialty items like golf carts or heavy machinery or classic cars, we have specific dealers that we work with that will resell them. And a lot of times for classic cars, for example, we will even sell them to museums and get top dollar for them for our donors.
Okay, that's rather interesting. So if someone wants to donate something from the back end, they can always go to Cars2Charities. But one final question: what are some of the most outrageous items in terms of vehicles that you've ever received from your organization?
An airplane.
Really? Someone
Yeah.
donated it? Okay. I won't get into the specifics of how you actually get a tow truck to remove that or something, but I mean, did you have to go for it or? I don't know.
We were lucky. We were able to use the storage facility for another couple of weeks while we were able to find a buyer, so we didn't have to move it. But yes, that was really interesting finding a buyer for an airplane. And we don't do them often, but when we do, the charities are so excited because they know it's going to be a large donation to them. So we're happy to do it even if it's a little extra work.
Okay, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Your donations in terms of motor vehicles, industrial, is it just strictly to the motor vehicle industry, or do you accept anything else?
We are actually in the process of learning how to fundraise anything because with our license, we really can. So we're collecting art, fine jewelry, land. So if you have any of those things, give us a call because we can process them.
Okay, definitely. And we will be putting the link to your website below in the description box for anyone who wants to reach out to Cars to Charity. And we continue to donate. Well, not to, where I don't want to use the word to the less fortunate, but it will actually go to a very commendable cause. And I'm sure what Lauren and her staff and her team is doing will definitely impact someone else or many more people right down the line. Lauren, your insights have been truly inspiring. And to every one of our listeners who are watching, thank you for tuning into this episode. But don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with your friends. Lauren, are there any final thoughts would you like to share with everyone?
I just want to say thank you so much for having me on the podcast. This has been an absolute joy. And my last thing to share with everyone is go out there, go get it, do your thing. Can't wait to see you on this podcast.
All right, thank you very much, Lauren Dahl, everyone. Until next time, stay innovative and keep making a difference. Thank you.